Sonic's Green Hills Adventures Season 1 Chapter 27, Confronting Jade and Veronica. Sonic was the first to wake up.
All right, first day of school since I was taken from Green Hills.
Sonic said excitedly as he put on his shoes.
Really? You know I was always curious about going to one.
Shadow said as he did the same thing.
That's great, Shadow, because this school is both a junior high and high school.
Sonic said excitedly as they both walked downstairs.
That's great, we'll be in the same school building. When do you think we can get this arranged?
Shadow asked hopefully.
We'll need to ask Pretzel Mom about it and she'll take care of it.
Sonic replied reassuringly.
Cool, and speaking of which, I smell something cooking.
Shadow said as his nose twitched.
A pancake's my favorite breakfast recite. You'll love them.
Sonic said as they entered the dining room.
Ooh, they look delicious.
Shadow said happily.
Good morning, Pretzel Mom. We have something to ask you.
Sonic said as Maddie sat down.
Good morning, Sonic and Shadow. So what is it?
Maddie said sweetly.
Well, I would like to attend school.
Shadow replied happily.
That's great. I'll take care of that after breakfast. But for now, why don't you go with Sonic and check it out?
Maddie replied reassuringly.
I like that idea. What do you think, Sonic?
Shadow said hopefully.
Yeah, let's do it. Besides, it could use my big brother being by my side, especially today. I'm really nervous and scared of what will happen if I run into Jade and Veronica and they found me at a time where I'm all alone.
Sonic replied seriously.
Don't worry, Sonic. Me and our friends won't let them hurt you ever again.
Shadow told Sonic reassuringly.
Thanks, Shadow. You're an amazing big brother.
Sonic said as they finished breakfast.
Oh, one more thing, boys. There's gonna be a party at Marina's after school tomorrow to celebrate this occasion.
Maddie told Sonic and Shadow quickly.
Awesome, we'll be there.
Shadow said as he closed the front door behind him.
Well, let's get to school. I'll race you.
Sonic said competitively.
You're so on.
Shadow replied and they dashed off to school.
Hey guys, did you see who won our little race? It seemed pretty close to us.
Shadow asked his friends curiously.
I'm afraid it's a Tay, however, that was impressive. How do you manage to run so fast, Shadow?
Joey replied enthusiastically.
Oh, it's thanks to my rocket shoes that the professor created for me.
Shadow replied as he demonstrated his rocket shoes.
So, Shadow, what brings you here?
Crystal asked excitedly.
Well, Mom is gonna arrange for me to attend school. I have nothing better to do today, so I came to check the school out. Also to support Sonic when Jade and Veronica see him.
Shadow replied confidently.
Oh, that's great. Well, we're kind of early, so Sonic, can we try out those songs you wrote?
Marina asked curiously.
Sure, I was planning for that today, so of course I brought the sheet music.
Sonic said enthusiastically and they went to the band room.
You ready, guys?
Yeah.
The rest of the band replied and they began playing.
That was awesome, Sonic and Shadow. We harmonized so well, and your voice is incredible.
Marina said happily after playing the first song.
Well, as for the other song, I want to save it for tomorrow night and play it for our families.
Sonic explained sweetly.
All right, sounds perfect. Let's get to class.
Crystal said happily and they packed up and headed off to class. Sonic, Shadow, Crystal, and Joy finally arrived at the gym.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Sonic said dramatically as he walked in.
And I'd like you all to meet someone, a new big brother. Should I watch your Spidey Hedgehog?
Sonic announced as he moved out of the way to allow his classmates to see Shadow in full view.
Whoa, Rolly, you're back and there's another epidemic hedgehog. This is the best news we've heard in a long time.
One of the students said as the others cheered as they welcomed Sonic back and saying hi to Shadow.
Well, let's get class started, shall we?
The gym teacher said, and they began warm-ups.
So Sonic, do you think the rest of the day will be like this?
Shadow asked playfully as he joined Sonic in the warm-ups.
There's no doubt about that, bro.
Sonic replied happily as they continued class. A few hours later, Sonic and Shadow were on their way to lunch when Jade and Veronica were in their view.
Look, it's Jade and Veronica, the ones that exposed me to gun.
Sonic whispered seriously to Shadow.
Well, I say we confront them now. We'll have to sooner or later.
Shadow suggested reassuringly.
You're right. Plus, I can't wait to see the look on their faces when they see both of us.
Sonic said in agreement as they walked up to Jade and Veronica.
Hey, you two miss me.
Sonic asked confidently.
What, no way. How dare you return?
Jade screamed in rage.
And is that another anthropomorphic hedgehog?
Veronica asked shakily in a state of shock.
Yes, I'm Shadow the Hedgehog and now Sonic's new big brother.
Shadow confirmed confidently.
I met him in the place those government soldiers took me to because of you two. My friends and family found me. And with Shadow's help, we escaped.
Sonic replied seriously.
So what? You're both fugitives.
Jade said harshly.
No, we're not. Also, do you want to know what happened while I was in there so badly? Well, they injected an experimental serum into me and made my legs useless. Then they beat me up. But thanks to Shadow's support, I didn't lose hope nor fall apart.
Sonic explained very seriously.
Oh, how sweet.
Jade said sarcastically.
Anyways, we had to stay in Washington, D.C. until the cure was finished. So in the meantime, we met the president to end the misunderstanding once and for all, so we don't have to hide and we can see more of this amazing planet without any worry.
Sonic added enthusiastically. Jade's point of view.
But where's the proof of that, huh? I absolutely couldn't believe it.
Very well. Just let me call the president and ask him to send me the broadcast footage.
Sonic said as he took out his phone from his ghouls.
Wait, when did you get his phone number, Sonic?
Shadow asked in shock.
Well, while we were in his limo, he gave me a piece of paper with his number on it.
Sonic replied happily. A few minutes later, he hung up his phone with a confident smirk on his face.
So you want proof, do you? Well, here's your proof. This was from a broadcast of the president interviewing us and our friends and family.
Sonic said happily as he played the video. Sonic wasn't messing with those. Well, this doesn't mean we're going to be nice to you. You still took our friend from us, I said as I began to walk away.
Yeah, so until we meet again.
Veronica added as she followed me. Suddenly, I got an idea and looked to Veronica. I have an idea, Veronica. Let's see what Shadow would do when his buttons are pushed. I told her as we headed to the cafeteria.
Sounds interesting, but really dangerous. I will never abandon you, of course. Unlike Jessica, however, I don't want to see you getting hurt because of all of this.
Veronica replied seriously. Oh, don't worry, Veronica. I'll be careful, I told her reassuringly as we sat down with our lunch. I decided to do research on Shadow to get dirt on him, and what I found made me laugh darkly. Well, this is something interesting, Veronica. Now let's go, I said as we finished eating.
Wait, what is it exactly?
Veronica asked me nervously. Oh, you trust me, I told Veronica reassuringly as we headed to the table Sony, Shadow and their friends were sitting at.
Sonic's point of view.
We were enjoying our lunch when I saw Jade and Veronica walking over to us. What do you two want? I asked as calmly as I could.
Hey, Shadow, have you become so happy that you completely forgot about your dead friend Mary?
Jade said harshly, and I couldn't believe what I just heard and turned to look over at Shadow.
Maria, how do you know about that? I never told anyone about her and...
Shadow demanded as he sobbed uncontrollably. My brotherly instincts took over and I hugged him protectively. Shadow, I'm sorry that happened, and remember, you're not alone anymore. You have me, Donut Dad, Pretzel Mom, and our friends, I told Shadow reassuringly as he cried into my chest. What is wrong with you, Jade? You don't bring sensitive things like that, you cruel monster, I said angrily as I gave Jade a death glare, but thankfully Shadow regained his calm composure.
That's it, no more gangs.
Jade said right before she grabbed me by my quills and tail. Oh, what are you doing? Let me go, I screamed out in pain and anger as Jade dragged me to the nearest wall.
No, Sonic. What do you think you're doing, Jade?
Shadow demanded with angry tears. Suddenly I felt the back of a fist hit my head against the wall hard.
Shadow's point of view.
When I saw Sonic unconscious, I stood up filled with anger, fear, and panic.
I'm going to break his legs.
Jade said darkly as she was about to grab one of Sonic's legs, however. I saw an opportunity to stop this. Oh, I don't think so. Chaos Spear! I screamed as I aimed and shot the spear at Jade's sleeve and it got pinned to the wall.
What there, you pray you could have killed me.
Jade said, completely horrified. Oh please, I was aiming at your sleeve, I never miss. I am not the evil monster here. I told her as I reluctantly made the spear disappear, releasing her, as I held Sonic protectively.
Who are you really?
Jade demanded seriously. I'm the ultimate life form, I told Jade confidently. Then I turned my attention to Sonic. Sonic, can you hear me? I asked gently.
Sonic's point of view.
When I heard Shadow's voice, I opened my eyes to see that it was in Shadow's arms protectively. Shadow, what happened? I asked shackily as I gained complete consciousness.
Jade was going to break your leg, so I used my Chaos Spear to pin her sleeve to the wall to stop her.
Shadow explained seriously. Would she try to do what Gun practically did? I asked shackily in shock.
But don't worry, you're alright. Well, let's get to your next class.
Shadow replied reassuringly as I got back onto my feet. Oh, you're right, we don't want to be late, I said as we left the cafeteria.
Veronica's point of view.
I couldn't believe what just happened, and it made me snap. You were right all along, Jade. That freak will pay for this. I told Jade darkly as we left the area.
Well then, what's the plan?
Jade asked me excitedly, so I explained the plan to Jade thoroughly. So after school, we found Shadow as I took out my pepper spray and hid it behind my back. Oh, hey, Shadow. I said to get him to turn around. Once he did, I sprayed it into his eyes.
What is wrong with you?
Shadow demanded as he covered his eyes in pain and fell to the ground. Now, Jade, it's time to teach this guy a lesson. I said as Jade came over to me. That's when we started kicking him repeatedly.
Sonic's point of view.
I heard the commotion behind me and quick looked to see what was going on because I heard Shadow screaming in pain. That's when I saw Jade and Veronica kicking him. No, Shadow, I screamed as I felt that strong sense of rage. Then I turned into my dark Sonic form. I flew at full speed towards Jade and Veronica as I formed a dark lighting ball of energy in my hand. By the time I got there, Shadow was unconscious.
How about that? And what are you?
Jade asked shackily as she saw my new form. It's still me, Sonic. I call this form Dark Sonic. How dare you hurt my brother? Now get away from him. My father will know about this. Now get out of here or else, I said warningly. Thankfully, they left. Then I turned my attention back to Shadow, and he looked terrible. No, Shadow. Please wake up. Crystal and Marina, call Donut Dad and Pretzel Mom. Shadow needs medical help. I cried as I put Shadow in my lap and held him close.
We are already on it, Sonic.
Marina said as she and Crystal dialed their phones. Finally, Donut Dad and Pretzel Mom arrived.
Where's my bows?
Pretzel Mom asked as she and Donut Dad ran over to us. We're right here, Pretzel Mom, I said tearfully as I looked at them.
Well, let's get you boys home, and then I'll see what I can do.
Pretzel Mom told me reassuringly. Then Donut Dad picked up Shadow and we headed to the car. Don't worry, guys, I'll call you the moment he wakes up. I told my worried friends before I got into the car and we left for the house.
Now the Wachowski family is in the living room. Shadow is laying on the couch. Tom is comforting Sonic. On the opposite side of the couch, who was still hysterical, and Maddie was pacing. Finally, Maddie was able to figure out Shadow's condition.
He's going to be fine. He just has some cuts and bruises. All he needs is a few band-aids and time to regain his consciousness. Now, Sonic, what happened today, because you seem more on it than usual?
Maddie said soothingly. Then Sonic told his parents about the cafeteria incident and the after-school incident. Maddie and Tom shed hot, angry tears after hearing this.
Don't worry, Sonic. This girl's punishment will be severe for doing this.
Tom declared seriously. Then at that moment, Shadow started to wake up. Sonic was the first to notice, and in no time, they were at Shadow's side.